We were the boy who made this trombone noise, right? When we went out to Kosovo last weekend, the first night we got there, we didn't actually go to Kosovo, we spent it in Skopje, in Macedonia. And we were invited to a reception for with the Canadian Embassy and stuff. And there was a Philip Glass concert before it that we had to attend. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Philip Glass live. Or is anything? No. Well, he's this kind of avant-garde, kind of half jazz, half classical composer, very modernist. And I suppose it's fine in its place that when you're stuck in a sweaty concert hall in Macedonia, it just wasn't working, you know. It was like these long, involved piano pieces where none of the music seemed to connect to anything. So he did his first two numbers, and then he says, now I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine who will come on and play on the alto saxophone some pieces we wrote together. So we're like, oh, maybe this will bring that up. So I'm sitting right next to Bruce in this hall, and it's all people sitting in tuxes and nice dresses and everything. And the guy comes out on the stage and there's a kind of hushed silence. And Bruce goes, he walks up to the mic with his sax, he's just the way he started playing, and Bruce went, and the two of us, you couldn't laugh out loud because it's this reverential sound. So the two of us, I know that feeling in school where your teacher gave me a right for laughing, you couldn't pay and you're sitting just with your seat. The two of us were like that for 10 minutes. So we were sweating like the last dogs in Korea. We sweat, had this nice coat of jackets on our feet so people wouldn't see it. And eventually after the guy played half a song, we had to get up and go out. It's very unusual. So that's become a kind of trademark thing over the past week, that trombone noise. Oh, is it Jack?
What's your favourite team?
My favourite football team? Dunfermline Athletic, commonly referred to as the Pars. Right?
The A-team, they were brilliant.
I don't like football, that's why I want to see Dunfermline Athletic play.
I like Spurs.
Dave Beebe from rugby. On a slightly more serious note, you've always been a band who've been able to connect really well with the fans through your lyrics. I think the connection you have with your fans is almost unparalleled, to today's bands. Is it something you consciously aim at, or is it something that comes naturally? And how does it make you feel when people, write to you say how much they related to your songs?
I've always been amazed by that. I love getting mail of people when they say that songs have affected them a certain way, or changed the way they thought about something, or got them through a hard time. And yeah, I've always consciously written like that. When I was a little kid, growing up in Scotland, my mum and dad had friends who were like folk musicians who play in the local kind of British Legion and stuff like that. So Saturday night in our house was always the kind of place in the village to gather after the pubs were shut. They'd come back with these guys, they had like accordions and guitars and banjos and fiddles and what have you. And of course, you're upstairs in your bed, there's no way you can sleep through the racket. You hear these drunken adults singing out anything from kind of Scottish and Irish folk songs to Patsy Cline or Frank Sinatra or whatever. And so you get to sit downstairs and sit with a glass of lemonade and watch what was going on. And I always remember being amazed by these big, hardy, mine-up chappies who wouldn't say a word to their wife all week long about anything, suddenly stand and pour out their heart and their undying love to this woman, and just was aware, really from that period on, just how powerful a song could be just in someone's life. And I've always wanted to write lyrics that I felt either told stories or involved real people or had characters in them that were really kind of narrative songs. And it's just a thing that inspires me. I think that there's a million other people out there writing completely inane lyrics or the same lyrics time in, time out. Diane Warren's made 150 million selling career out of writing songs that say nothing to anybody. There's a whole bunch of people out there who buy the Sun. They buy Diane Warren records too.
Peter Green, also the likes of Eddie Reader, Kate Bush, etc. So many very varied artists over the years, etc. Who's left who'd like to collaborate with? That's two, not just Stuart, but the whole band. Is there anyone?
The person I'd most like to write with is Diane Warren.
Why that, for the money?
Exactly. No, I think creatively the ultimate thing for me would be to be allowed to collaborate on lyrics with Leonard Cohen. He's my absolute lyrical hero of all time. Just an absolute genius. Him or Morrissey. I think Morrissey wrote some of the best lyrics ever to come out of Britain.
I think playing with Jeff Beck would be kind of a big thing for me. Even if he was in the studio or whatever, it'd just be a brilliant thing to be able to do. As I say, it was the early inspiration for me, and to sort of work with him would just be absolutely unbelievable, but that's what I feel.
I think I'd like to collaborate with Martin McCutcheon. Give it a damn good year collaborating, you know what I mean?
That's true, we just recently did that. We just did that thing in Hyde Park recently, it was on telly, and we had that charming young lady, Kelly O'Rourke, standing for Eddie Reader, and I think it'd be really good if we got together and did something with her, because she's got a magical voice.
Talking about, sorry, just the guys reminded me something there. You talk about seeing something amusing in America. There's two things. One of them's kind of rude, so if there's any children listening, cover their ears. And one of them, I live in the south in America, it's like the Beverly Hillbillies. You know, there's a bunch of people there who really are like that. So last year we had a really bad tornado came through Nashville, and Far West kind of trailer park, it wrecked a whole bunch of houses out in East Nashville, tore up trees, destroyed half the Bush Stadium and everything. And as always, the man on the spot news reporter guy, where did they find these people to interview on the street? Somehow in Nashville they seemed to find the biggest redneck person they could ever come across to. So they had this guy, crazy looking guy, wild-eyed, and his hair all over the place, stripped to the waist, and just a pair of jeans on the arm, with cleavage hanging out the back. And they say to him on the TV, can you describe what happened to you? He's like, and I'm not even going to attempt to do the accent because it's impossible for him. He says, I was down in my basement, I could hear all this racket going on upstairs and stuff smashed and stuff, so I decided to go upstairs and have a look to see what was going on. He says, I went up there, he says, man, my whole house was in pandemonium. Classic interview. And then another thing, a few weeks ago, I think I must have been the only person in Nashville that was actually watching this on TV, but Jay Leno spoke about it on the Tonight Show for a week. I'm sitting there watching the TV, right, and it's one of these Foxy's Most Amazing Videos thing, you know, where they show like people falling out of buildings and smashing their cars up and stuff. General nice family entertainment. So anyway, the guy says, we want to tell any viewers of a nervous disposition now to leave the room, because the next video we're going to show you, the final one of the evening, is pretty shocking. So I'm like, this might be good. So I'm sat up and watching the telly, sitting in the house alone, and so it cuts to this scene, and it's just a handheld camcorder thing. There's two guys in an elephant's cage, sweeping it up like this. And one guy kind of bent over like this, just behind one of the elephants. And the elephant suddenly decided it's time to sit down. So as it sat backwards, the guy's head disappeared right up his ass. The elephant went, and got worse, because the elephant must have got a fright. He couldn't get his head back out, so he's like this. Push your head back on his legs. And his mate had to drop his brush and go across the ground and pull him out. And the guy was lying on the ground, totally gagging for air and throwing up his shoulder. And he showed it again in slow motion. I tell tell you what, they could show that 24 hours a day on TV, 7 days a week, and they'd still be gapping an audience for 6 months later. Classic. The funniest thing I've ever seen.